I'm going into this shit completely raw. I have no idea how this will end, or where I'm even going. I just know I can't stay here. I'm talking about this essay, of course. Unlike my novels, I don't outline most of my essays, but that's especially true for this one. I feel as though I am trapped in a room full of closed doors. I do not know if I can pry any open, but I suppose I can attempt to. My butt is in grave amounts of pain right now, oh my god. So, do you remember that Spider-Man meme? The one where the two fuckers are pointing at each other? That, on any given day, is what my mind feels like. My adult life, and unwittingly, my adolescent life, has been a series of one scene repeated over and over. The scene is me coming back to the cockpit after a snack break, a bowl of Indomie in hand, only to stop and stare agape because a maniac who looks just like me is sitting in my seat, steering this goddamn plane made with tape and spit into oblivion. My consciousness is just two or more man-children wrestling for dominance. It's funny in the abstract, but kind of just sad in person. I like to think of those man-children as Tosen fragments. It's odd because fragments indicate that they collectively make up one whole Tosen, but I think if you were to combine all the Tosen fragments into one, you'd get several black eyes and boners you don't want to dwell too much on. I think when I was young and I would perform this Tosen mitosis, I would ignore or just not be aware of the fragments. And as a result, some of them would just die. Sort of like Schrödinger's cat, if Schrödinger's cat was stupid and nothing like Schrödinger's cat. But I grew up, knowledge crashed into frustration, and as I started to become aware of the resulting Tosen fragments spewing out post-collision, I began to find more specific things to hate. I began to know exactly who to point the finger at when I was angry. With the newfound clarity came ire, boiling and overabounding. This fragment is why I stutter. This fragment is why I'm always ashamed of something. This fragment is why I can't get up on some mornings. This fragment. Every mood became a different person. And every person forgot that other Tosens could exist. Sad Tosen couldn't reconcile with hopeful Tosen, and vice versa. If you focus hard enough on that which you're pointing at, it becomes rather easy to forget who's doing the pointing, and so my arm grew tired. I lowered it, and when I decided to pick up the fragments from the floor, to my surprise, I couldn't see my hands anymore. Bars. Earl Sweatshirt has this line where he says, "How much shrapnel can your soul take?" I don't know. How many versions of a person can one soul house before it pops? How much me is there in me to fit in me? I'm sorry. That was annoying, I know. I think my Tosen fragments were just my own twisted way of curing self-loathing. I think I couldn't bear the brunt of my own misery anymore, and so I dispersed the pressure like shotgun shells. That's how shotguns work, right? That's definitely how shotguns work. Shut up, Deji. And so here I am, at the crossroads. I teeter over the precipice of change. I know I can unite myself. I don't know how I know or how I'll do it, but I know I can. But do I want to? Do I want to take responsibility for every Tosen? It's so much easier to hate them or to be numb to them than to be them. Why must I be a person who did a bad thing when it's so much easier to just be a bad person? The other day, I prayed for the first time in a long while, maybe years. Not necessarily because I believe in heaven or hell. Don't worry, this isn't a sermon. To tell you the truth, I don't honestly care if there is something up there. That wasn't why I did it. I do this thing where I write letters to myself. It helps to get my thoughts out, but it widens the wedges in my spirit, or whatever my spirit actually is. The other day, when the light hit my hands just right, I gathered all the fragments, gazed upon all the stilted information I had, and wrote a letter with all of them, addressed to something other than myself. It didn't cure anything. It didn't glue me back together. But for that moment, I felt, inexplicably so, complete. I felt undefined by my thoughts and past actions. I felt somehow aware of the infinite layers of my person, yet somehow content in my oneness. I felt like Tosen. For however briefly I understood what that meant, the stranger in my pilot's seat wasn't trying to usurp me. The idiot was just filling in for me, and I lashed out in fear. Now, as we stare at the clouded sky ahead, it occurs to me, that it was never really up to me. Change too often comes as cascading gusts rather than gentle breezes. The sky ahead looks unfamiliar, and soon I'll have no idea where north or south is. I no longer have the luxury of being splintered as I head into this unknown. I'm going into this shit completely raw. I have no idea how this will end, or where I'm even going. I just know I can't stay here. My ass is in pain. Hold on. Wait, you Gen Z fuckers, don't hop to the next video just yet. I'm a published author. This is my book, The Imaginary Parts of Lucifer Heart. It's about a young boy who learns the hard way that women are not a road to run away from your past on. It would mean the world to me if you bought it. The ebook is only like $4 on Amazon. So is my Patreon, but I doubt you brokies can afford to pay for that monthly, so just get the book instead. I know there is no irony in me saying that with a broken smoke detector, bitch.